Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the RNCC meeting. Today is Monday, July 13th, 7:06. So before we get started, Garland, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledges to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. So before we get started, I wanted to see if I could pull up my email. Let you guys know that tonight's meeting will be in honor of Joe Fisher, who was a Coronado Neighborhood Council president and really an icon in the city of Richmond. And we'll close the meeting out in his memory. I wanted to let everybody know that this is called the RNCC meeting, and that stands for Richmond Neighborhood Coordinating Council. And again, my name is Ardo Rentila. I'm the chair of for tonight. So the city of Richmond is 52 square miles with 6 voting districts and approximately 5 neighborhood councils in each district. So there's about 31 neighborhood councils. A lot of them are not active. So if you live in the city of Richmond, you live within a neighborhood council, and we'd really like to see those neighborhood councils that are not active get activized. And so if you're interested in getting involved with volunteering with a neighborhood council, please contact me at 510-909-2797 or contact one of our e-board members who are all up here from various neighborhood councils. So let's start by introductions. And oh, by the way, before we do that, I just wanted to let everybody know as well that it's the Neighborhood Council 70th anniversary. It was founded 70 years ago, but these RNCC meetings are geared towards the neighborhood councils. The department heads report to us, and the idea is that we take that information back to our neighborhood councils to report to them and make them more informed about what's going on in the city of Richmond. So that being said, Garland, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Garland Ellis. I'm a RNCC member at large and also a member of the Richmond Annex Neighborhood Council. Recently, we've been going over traffic studies for our area. Actually, there's a meeting for that this evening. And our next city council meeting city neighborhood council meeting will be the fourth Thursday of this month.
Rock Brown, treasurer of the East Richmond Neighborhood Council and Sergeant of Arms of the RNCC. No report, but I yield the report to the president, the current president, Jim Hansen, the East Richmond Neighborhood Council, if you're out there.
Margarita Midas, President of Marina Bay Neighborhood Council and Director at Large for the RNCC. I think I reported this last time, but we did have our June meeting. We have quarterly meetings, and we also had our dumpster day, June 27th, and we had the July 3rd fireworks, and it was very well attended by lots of people, and it seemed to be that everybody had a good time.
Thank you. My name is Ardo Rentila. I'm the president of the Fairmead Hilltop Neighborhood Council. We're up there by Contra Costa College and Hilltop Mall. So for us, our next neighborhood council meeting will be this month on the 23rd, July 23rd, and we're expecting to have our beat officer, who was actually raised in our neighborhood, Rick Ramos, Sergeant Rick Ramos, come in with the stats, and then we also have Richmond Fire Department Inspector Dante Wiley coming in to give us tips about the summer season and fire hazards. And before I go on, I just wanted to mention to everybody that we will not be meeting in August. We will be having a board retreat. Much like the city, we don't meet in August. So that being said, Jan?
Good evening. I'm Jan Mignoni. I'm the president of the North and East Neighborhood Council, and I'm the vice president of the RNCC. We had our meeting on the end of the fourth Wednesday of last month. I don't know the dates anymore. I can't keep up. If he says his is the 23rd, mine's the 22nd this month, so I know that much. But we've been busy planning our picnic in September, and we're the end party of National Night Out, so we're trying to get that all organized and together. So we're busy doing all of that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else going on. No, I think that's about it. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Lori Hart. I am the Vice President of the Parchester Village Neighborhood Council and the Secretary for the RNCC. Tomorrow on the 14th, we will have our Neighborhood Council meeting. Our meetings are bi-monthly. We are just awaiting for the city to confirm some events. We have like 5 events scheduled for the rest of the year, maybe three in August, 4 in August. Yeah, and so out there quite busy and just awaiting confirmation, and more will be announced about the events once they're actually confirmed. And we met one of the beat cops who came on the wrong day, but he will be there tomorrow. And so, yeah, our meetings are hybrid. They're in person and online. So if you would like to join one of the Parchester Village Neighborhood Council meetings, please come to the Parchester Community Center at 7 o'clock, or you can email me, and I will send you a link. Thanks.
Garetha, would you please go ahead?
Good evening. My name is Garetha Johnson. I'm the president of the Parchester Neighborhood Council and the PIO for the RNCC, and no report.
I am Bryce Alleman. I am a director at large for the RNCC and represent Richmond Village and Metro Square. Thanks to Marina Bay for the amazing hosting of the fireworks. It was a great celebration this year, as always. And I see how difficult it is for the city's police and services for all the illegal fireworks that happen, because even in our neighborhood, we have some people that seem to want to set a lot of those off. So nothing else to report at this time. However, if you are online and representing a neighborhood, please raise your hand electronically so that I can recognize you and you can give your report. Oh, there's one. April, would you like to go ahead, please?
Sure. My name is April Roy. I'm the representative for the RNCC for Hilltop Village's HOA. And we do have a neighborhood cleanup day, thanks to the city, this Saturday. And also we are doing a party for the National Night Out, and we hope to have the caravan come through. We're planning some activities for the kids to ask the cops and the fire if they come. So that's our report. We meet every month on the 3rd Wednesday of each month. Thank you.
Okay, we have a few folks in the audience. If you'd like to step up and state your neighborhood and if you have a report.
Good evening. My name is Sherwin Harris. I'm the president of the Iron Triangle Neighborhood Council. Just wanted to give a short report on the recent Juneteenth celebration that was at Nicholas Park. It was a greatly attended event. It was without issue. I'm happy to say we had a booth selling hot dogs and other goodies. We partnered with Vibe Bistro, and so that was a great event for us. Tomorrow, no, not tomorrow, on Wednesday, we have our neighborhood council meeting at Nevin Nevin Park at Nevin Center. It starts at 5:30. Meals are provided. We have a mailing going out to alert all our residents that are in the Iron Triangle neighborhood that we do have this meeting. We want to be a little bit more active and get out there. If you go to our website, www.irontrianglecouncilneighborhoodcouncil.com, you'll see some changes to the page. And then also, I need to find out, how do I change it on the internet? It has that we meet via Zoom. We meet in person. So I don't know who do I contact with the RNCC. I definitely need to change that. I did it on our website, but
Okay.
I didn't have access to the other one.
Right.
And then that's, oh, we're also getting ready. We're planning for the National Night Out. We will be having our event this year at Nevin Park. We will have jumpers and hot dogs and popcorn and all the stuff that kids like. Hopefully, they'll come out and have a good time. We even service some of the adults. So come out and join us. We're going to have a good time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we don't normally do this, but Mr. Antoine Clord has some very important information he'd like to share with us.
Yeah, Antoine Claude, I also represent Coronado Neighborhood Association. Just FYI, the people of Richmond really need to be informed because they're really misinformed. And I have an organization called Community Excellence Service Group. We're founded, and we're planning to serve this community with information on how and what to do around dirty plume situations, like the thing that happened in Orange County. They had to evacuate 50,000 people, right? When they had one in Stockton. That fire was no joke. Them people didn't know what to do. And our residents, our areas in Richmond are more exposed to those things than what people think. Misinformed people give misinformed information. If they have the information and they know what to do if it happens, God forbid it happens, but if it happens, that our community, all Richmond residents live, work, and play should know what to do to make their community safe and their residents safe. Because if they don't, our reality is we ain't got no hospital, right? So we have to take care of ourselves. And what do that look like? We have to educate our communities, educate our students, and watch this. The biggest number of hazardous that we have is our seniors. For real, for real, for real. You look at your senior populations and where you live at and how they're going to get service if something happens. And depending on which way the wind blow. Y'all got to understand which way that wind blow. You know what I mean? On whatever given day if something happens. And this is how you have to react. And so I gave you some packets for you to look at. Make sure that your constituents get a copy of that, please. And I can come back and present for more in detail, because you really need the detail. And then you will support this effort that we want to do so we can bring it back to the city council and tell them to put their money where their mouth is and stop selling us pipe dreams. We need to make sure that if something happens that we can be safe and well in Richmond. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, but before you leave, do you have any contact information you can give the
Yes, you
audience?
can contact me, Antoine Clord, at 510-776-9620.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yes, Rock.
Yeah, Antoine, I'm just curious, you're with an organization that's bringing this forth to the city
Yes,
council?
Community Excellence Service Group.
And
That's right.
they want support in getting the city council.
So just real brief, because I know y'all, no, I talked to you already. I already got my directions.
I guess I should have
got you. I'm going to share it with you. I just want to.
What I wanted to ask is if they do have it, all I was curious of is, so we could look at supporting it. Do they have a breakdown on everything that they plan to do?
Yes, we have a total breakdown.
Bring that in, send it
Yes,
to
I
us.
talked to both Sherman and Vernon and gave them that. And he told me that, he gave me the steps to do it. But the whole program is broken down into a 3-year platform.
What they would do, if city council was to, if we support you for what city council would give you to do this, do you, the same thing you would give city council, do you, are you have it available to give?
I have available to you, yes,
Okay.
yes.
That's cool.
yes.
All
I have
right.
available to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, before we get to our presentations, I'd like to refer to our Public Information Officer, Rita Johnson from Parchester Village. Rita, do you have anything to report on?
Yes, I do.
Take it away.
Okay, so I have a couple announcements here. So on Saturday, July the 25th, from 10 to 1 p.m., SOS is having a community pancake brunch. Now, this is free, and it will be held at 32 Harbor Way. And the motto is, be a part of creating a more connected Richmond for everyone. Again, that's Saturday, July the 25th, from 10 to 1 p.m. The next announcement is 2026 Mega Mixer. That's on Thursday, July the 30th, from 4 to 6 p.m. at 320 Civic Drive in Pleasant Hill. It's free parking, a cash bar, and chamber food vendors. Now, for chamber members, this event is free, but for non-members, it's $20. And it's being hosted by the following chambers: Walnut Creek, Pleasant Hill, Lafayette, Concord, Richmond, Orinda, Martinez, and Benicia. Again, that's Thursday, July the 30th, from 4 to 6. Thrive Thursdays has been happening since May the 28th and will continue on to August the 6th at Nickel Park from 5:45 to 7:30 p.m. at 3230 McDonald Avenue, Richmond. That's Nickel Park. Come and learn how to dance the salsa, merengue, and more. There's activities that may include yoga, walk with the doc, a resource table, kids activities, farm stand, and free giveaways. Now, for more information, you can call these numbers: 510-368-4533 or 925-812-6631. And this is co-sponsored by our Vice Mayor, Doria Robertson, and also the City of Richmond, Contra Costa Health, Healthy and Active Before 5, and Supervisor Joya. And this is a free event. And also, the next free event is the Richmond Main Street presents the 7th Annual Spirit and Soul Festival. And that's on Saturday, August the 29th, located downtown Richmond on McDonald Avenue and Marina Way. And this event is from 10 to 5. And this is what you can expect: live music performances by Miss Butter and the Butter Band, and Andre Theory with his accordion soul music, health and resource hub, a youth zone with soccer field, classic car show, food vendors and beverage pavilion, artisan and craft vendors, family activities and raffles, and more. For more information visit richmondmainstreet.com. And that's again on Saturday, August the 29th. That's it, folks.
Well, thank you, thank you. And before we move on to the presenters, I did get a late notice. Rodney Alamo Brown wanted me to mention Soulful Softball Sunday, Nickel Park on August 11th. Soulful Softball Sunday is an award-winning annual community celebration founded by Rodney Alamo Brown in Richmond, California. More than a softball tournament, it's a day dedicated to unity, healing, family, and community empowerment, bringing together people from all walks of life to celebrate Richmond's rich culture and strengthen relationships. Held each year at Nickel Park, the event attracts hundreds of families, youth, community leaders, former professionals, athletes, faith leaders, and organizations for a full day of fellowship and fun. So again, that's August 11th, or I'm sorry, it's August 16th. I was about to say. Yeah, it's the 11th annual
Okay.
So August 16th, Nickel Park, Soulful Softball Sunday. Thank you. So moving on, I guess we can move on to our presenters from West County Wastewater.
Good evening, Chair Rintila and the Coordinating Council. Okay, you're nodding. I thought you wanted me to wait for a second.
No, sorry, go ahead.
So let's see. Are they seeing the slides or how's? Okay. All right. Well, good evening. I'm Andrew Clow. I'm the General Manager at West County Wastewater, and I have Kate Gibbs, our Communications Manager, here with us this evening.
Hello, everyone.
Here's our agenda. We have quite a few slides, so we have about 10 minutes to present. Mr. Rintila?
A little over, it's fine.
Okay. And well, there's a number of slides, and some of them we'll go through pretty quickly. But a little bit about who we are and our vision and a couple of key things that we've been working on and where we're going. This is who we are. We are a wastewater district, which means we take your wastewater and we treat it and we look at it as a resource because, as you'll see when we complete this next project, no, I'm sorry, I flipped my finger there, sorry. Oh, it's still here. We'll get to that in a moment, I'm sorry. 34 residents, 900 commercial businesses, about 17 square miles, 250 miles of gravity sewers, 6 of force mains. That means ones that are pumped under pressure, so when they fail, that's a big deal. And that's who we are. Go ahead. Our vision is a regional leader championing environmental stewardship, resource recovery, innovative solutions, and community engagement. We look at what comes down the pipe not as wastewater, but rather we see ourselves in the resource recovery business. Go ahead. And here I'll talk very briefly about the Clean and Green project. This project is a huge endeavor for our agency. It dramatically changes a significant portion of the infrastructure through the heart of the treatment plant. It'll create green power resiliency and reliability, and it will have a backup battery system. We have solar, and we're using cogeneration, which means that when we take what comes down the pipe and we thicken it and put it into the digesters and create methane gas, we then use that methane to generate electricity. And that electricity will run the treatment plant. And we'll be able to run the treatment plant almost entirely, well, I say almost entirely, on a regular basis it will be, but almost always on just the energy that we create ourselves. We'll also creating our own microgrid so that when we have public safety power shutdowns from PG&E, we can continue to operate. We can be separate from the grid. We can operate with generating our own electricity. And at night, when solar, say a little bit less gas production, we can rely on the batteries that we've been able to use as a backup storage. The program is about 4 million kilowatts of energy reduction each year, as well as a 93% reduction in our greenhouse gas emissions by getting out of the sludge farming business. Basically, those open ponds that you'd see going down the parkway, both the processed sludge, the digested sludge from the city of Richmond's treatment plant and ours were in those ponds. And now, instead, going through this process, instead of using that and creating all that greenhouse gas, we'll be going through this other process and generating what we refer to as Class A biosolids, which means a lot better than the other ones. Okay, go ahead. Yes, sir?
Can I interrupt you for just a second?
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted folks to understand that West County Wastewater treats from Parchester Village, all of Hilltop, and all of the rest of District 4 to El Sobrante and other cities. So it's about 30% of the city's clients.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Rentilo. That's a standard slide we should have in this kind of presentation, is the district map, because Richmond's borders are confusing enough as it is. Okay, back to these are a few of the pictures, some of the old digesters going away, the big hole in the ground. Go ahead, Kate. I'm happy to talk in more detail about any of these, but just kind of giving a sense of the change going on. Okay, go ahead, Kate. Go ahead. That's our great big new digester. So like I said, that project significantly, you can go to the picture, that project significantly changed the infrastructure. We bonded for it for the first time. We issued bonds for the first time in our agency's history. The only other time we had was as part of the West County Agency, which was together with the city of Richmond back in the 1970s when the federal government had the huge Clean Water Act funding to build a lot of these types of wastewater improvements around the country. This is the North Richmond shoreline, as I'm sure everybody here is aware, essentially from Point Malade to Point Pinole, and we're towards the center of that. Go ahead. This project that we've been working on along the North Richmond shoreline, we have been taking the lead, taking our place in the community, and leading the effort to develop a collaborative shoreline plan for the North Richmond shoreline to address sea level rise and the impacts it will bring to all of our waterfront property, and naturally a wastewater treatment plant, we're at the bottom of the hill by definition. We rely on gravity for it to get there. I wanted to point out, though, that we stand on the shoulders of giants. The Resilient by Design program was a Rockefeller grant, and the community went through a process and developed a plan, and in it identified the need and the priority for that need in this particular area, in this particular community. And then we've received some grants from the San Francisco Bay Restoration Authority. As earlier mentioned, I heard mention Supervisor Joya, one of your members. He's been very helpful in that. He's on the Restoration Authority. And this is the plan. The first one on the left was the North Richmond Priority Resilience Area. That was done in 2018. That was the Resilient by Design grant and the work the community did. And then in 2023, we completed this North Richmond Collaborative Shoreline Adaptation Plan with the idea of, in that photo right there, is the cover is basically an overview of what our treatment plant would look like with the changes, meaning that all those ponds that we took out of service, we were able to convert a number of them, so we've dramatically increased our equalization basins so that when we have the heavy rains in the winter and we cannot treat all the water that's coming down because it definitely infiltrates into our system, we have much bigger basins where we can pump them off to the side and hold them and then bring that back into the system as the rains abate, and we can then treat it properly and discharge. As well as it allowed us to have property where we can make the trail much more interesting, a lot of wetland rehabilitation, and working with our partners from the Flood Control District, the East Bay Regional Park, Chevron, Republic Services, nonprofits like the Watershed Project, and others throughout the North Richmond community. This plan is in front of both the City of Richmond and Contra Costa County actually adopting and having state adaptation plans. So we're hopeful that'll be coming soon, and we know that it is. This is a little bit more detail on the project plan. This would be the first phase between Wildcat and San Pablo Creeks. What we would be proposing to construct is what we'll call a living levee or a nature-based solution. Essentially, you build a levee and then you put a wedge out into the wetlands, into the bay, to allow, as sea level rises and the storms come in, it can abate, and there's a area for the I'm trying to come up with the right word, but they call it refugia, but it's as the sea level rises, you'll get less and less of the habitat that's suitable for the intertidal creatures, for example, and this will give it a lot more time. And we'll be using a natural solution to it rather than a solid brick wall, concrete structure, et cetera. Now, where are we going? Well, a lot of this work was funded on that shoreline plan. A lot of that was funded from Restoration Authority grants. We've been working very hard for years to try to find and sell this project essentially to the Army Corps of Engineers and get it into their work plan. And we were successful this past year with a Garamendi community funding. Boy, they have all the new names for it. Basically, it's congressionally directed spending. But with his support, as well as Senator Padilla, we are in the Army Corps of Engineers work plan for $1.35 million, and it's an environmental infrastructure project. It's the first environmental infrastructure project that will be done by this district, the San Francisco Corps. And we're hoping that we can work with them in a new and more collaborative way. I say new, they've done it on other projects, but usually what the Corps of Engineers does is they'll hire their consultant, you comment on it, they build it, construct it, turn it over to the local agency. We've done a lot of this work, and so essentially what we're telling the Corps is, for a little over $1 million or $2 million, we can have the final design, and we hope to work with them together as peers. That's going to be a challenge, and construct the first 0.6 miles along the waterfront. We do not have the rest of the funding. We will continue to seek that, as well as the matching funds that we'll require, because as I mentioned, that project, the Clean and Green project that so significantly changed our infrastructure, will cost us about $85 million in the end. But a significant portion of that will be saved because over two, and it'll go up in time, we no longer will have a PG&E bill. And so by doing this construction now and no longer having that PG&E bill over 20 years, we will have paid for a huge portion, probably about 70% of that project, just through deferred costs that we will not have to incur. So we need matching funds because we've leveraged everything, so we're working very hard with the state, and we've been talking with Mr. Arreguín and others to try to help us with that. And as we have explained to the Corps and others, that this community is very much a disinvested but not a disinterested community, and we can demonstrate that very clearly with the level of community engagement that we've had, the level of community interest, and we want to keep that alive. And we also facilitate the North Richmond Stakeholder Group, which all along the North Richmond shoreline, stakeholders from businesses, nonprofits, communities, other agencies, to facilitate the discussion and look for areas of collaboration and partnership where we can apply for grants, work together to try to solve the problem that we all know is coming. This is a timeline. I won't go through the whole thing, but we were founded back in 1921. And as we see, we go way up here to the end. In 2025, we received some funding from the Army Corps of Engineers to get us started, which we're very excited about. We brought environmental infrastructure, here we go, picture. We brought environmental infrastructure dollars into Northern California in this administration. I just love saying that. Okay, next one. We'd be happy to come back and talk in more detail about any of these, the Clean and Green project, more details about the Shoreline project, the Living Levee project, or some of the programs that we have, like the Sewer Lateral Compliance program, which then also has our PIPES program, which is, it's a mouthful, the Public Incentive Program for Efficiency of Sewers. Well, that's why you use an acronym. Essentially, it's an opportunity for ratepayers within our district, when they need to replace their sewer lateral, that there is some funding available from the district to help defray some of those costs. I won't go into the details of that program. We have some brochures. Make a phone call. We can come back and bring Judy to talk in great detail about it, whatever level of detail you'd like to hear. This is just a slide. All of these agencies, partners, et cetera, that we've been working with to try to develop what we've just been talking about here. And that's it. That's one of the lagoons that will go away in the future and hopefully be something much more productive. And pretty quick, be happy to talk about anything else in whatever detail you'd like, sir.
Do we have any questions?
Yeah, we need a district.
Yeah. Nope, none down here. Okay, I do.
On your mic.
Oh, sorry. Well, thank you for the presentation. I was wanting to, I was hoping to get a little bit more specific, so I'm sorry my questions are going to be more specific. So, everybody's, somewhat upset about the rates being increased and to fund all of the infrastructures and the pipeline treatments and so forth. How do we know that these increases that we are being charged is going directly to fix this pipeline activity that I'm sure you have a report on? And when will it end? How do we know? How do we track that? Is there some report? Is there a website? That's one question. And then the second question has to deal with, you mentioned that there was a sewer lateral grant program. I live in a condo, and many of the Marina Bay folks live in a condo. And anytime we are selling condos or buying condos, there's a sewer lateral charge. And I just heard from your presentation that there's possible grant money to offset that, and wondering if that still exists, and the website to find more information about it.
I'd like to mention first that Marina Bay is not in our service area,
Oh,
but those are good questions.
There's
Oh.
3 agencies that control Richmond.
But if
Oh.
you can answer some of the other,
I can, and it would be very similar as far as your condo rules, though, that you're within the city of Richmond's treatment area, and there, like I said, their digested sludge comes to us, and we'll be working together with them. But so I don't know how much I could talk about a little bit more our pipes program and some of the details. It does get more complicated with the condos, absolutely. But I hesitate to answer that too directly since it's actually in another agency's district.
yeah, that's news to me. So.
Yeah. But your other question is, when will it stop? How do we tell? Well, you're sitting next to one of our board members there, and that is one of their primary responsibilities, is the fiduciary responsibility. And so we have a 2-year budget. We come back with the mid-year budget. We show this is the revenue that we're bringing in from currently. This is the revenue that we additionally get from the rate increase, and everything's there, what we spent the money on, and there's annual audits, et cetera. So what I can say to that is that we did recently do a rate study, and we did agree, the board agreed to raise our rates, and they're significant. They're
Yeah.
12%
Extremely
year-over-year.
significant. I said extremely significant.
They are. But if we wait longer now and push it further down the road, it'll be even more expensive for people later. Because that's essentially what's happened, is you have, it's not just deferred maintenance, but actually deferred replacement of infrastructure and rehabilitation of infrastructure. The investment wasn't being made over the last 20, 25, 30 years. And it's very common throughout the East Bay, throughout California and the rest of the country, especially with the underground utilities where people do not see them. A lot of it hasn't been fixed. We're under orders from the Water Board. Under our permit, they have certain requirements for us to do a certain amount of capital projects each year on those gravity sewers, much like the city of Richmond has their system. And it was, we estimated probably about $130 million of projects that we really need to accomplish, but with this rate increase, hopefully we'll get to 50 million of those. If we don't do the work now, it'll only get more expensive. It's like when you fund a library, and everybody's excited to pass the bond measure to build the new library, but they don't build any money in for maintenance. And the roof goes. We need to replace the roof, but we don't replace the roof. We just patch the roof until the roof leaks, it rains, it ruins some books, and now you do an emergency repair, which costs a heck of a lot more than if you planned for the replacement in a timely manner, much less what you damaged. Same thing with our sewer system. We wait, for example, we have force mains that I mentioned. They're under pressure. They'll pump up over and out of the ravine so we can then use gravity to come back down. We had a number of force mains that are single points of failure. One metal pipe running up through a steep ravine, it fails, and there's no other way to get past. It's metal that's sitting in the ground for 60 years without cathodic protection. These are the things we've inherited. So we've done condition assessments of our entire system. We're prioritizing the work based on those conditions, and we're doing our best to try to minimize the impact from spills. And to minimize the impact of the amount of water getting into the system. That's the idea of replacing the sewer laterals as well as the mains. A lot of water leaks into the system. And a lot of the sewer lateral changes happen, as you pointed out, at a point of sale. The concept behind that all the agencies are using is at that point, literally money is on the table. And so you're not trying to regulate and push someone who's in a home, they've been in it for a long time, they may have the home, but they don't have the income, and boom, $15,000, you need to replace your sewer lateral. Not doing it, though, contributes to a public health issue. So that's where some funds that we have some discretionary funds. It's like the city's general fund. It's a very limited amount for us. Most of our funding is what would be called the city a enterprise fund, which like your sewer program is an enterprise fund. You can only spend it on the sewers and only spend it on those programs. We couldn't use that money to help a neighbor pay for it because you would be paying somebody else's bill. But we get some money from rent and things like that. So I don't know if I fully answer your question. The goal that we have of the rates, I don't know that this next 5-year one will do it, is we reach the point of what we would refer to as a sustainable rate structure, meaning that the rates would increase about level with inflation. That's not the case right now. And there's a number of other agencies around the Bay. They're going to see some real sticker shock on some of theirs because some of the regulations that are coming, as I pointed out, our project, we are significantly reducing our energy costs, our dependency on PG&E. We're paying for much of that project by the project itself, as well as we've already, when you see the algal blooms in the bay in the summertime and the articles, and they say all the treatment plants putting those nutrients out there, we do not contribute. Our water, we are already removing all of our nutrients, and about 85% of it ends up going over to East Bay mud, further treated, and over to Chevron is used in their boilers at the refinery. That's a big ticket item that a lot of agencies are going to have to do. We've already done that. We revamped the central part of our infrastructure. That'll last a long time, and we're working to bring outside funds to try to protect that investment along the waterfront. So we recognize I have a sewer bill too, and it recognize it, all the utilities, but it's this deferred, you'll pay a whole lot more later if you don't take care of it now, and that's what we want to try to do, is to catch up with that.
Yeah, I wanted to reiterate that to our ratepayers that we're in transition. This is a brand-new state-of-the-art plant that is being built currently, and things are a lot more costly today than they were years ago, and we're dealing with AI and how to work around that and how to everything else. And so it's not just a regular old plant that's been sitting there for decades. So there's a lot of nuances to this. It's a little bit like a Thanksgiving Day dinner that you spend a whole day preparing for. So there's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, it's no longer just the turkey and gravy. We got the whole, turducken going on.
That's right. That's right. Well, yes.
So, Mr. Cloud, I am one of the residents that you service. I live in Parchester. And so we always have the continual increases. And this 8.5 increase is huge. And my question to you is, why should the residents have to absorb this when you're only servicing 30%? 70% are being serviced by another vendor. What would prevent, or why should we not go to the city council and tell them to partner with the other vendors? Because this increase is high.
I'm not sure if I follow exactly what you mean by partner with the other vendors, but
you only service 30%. That's 70% of Richmond that you do not service. That means somebody else is servicing 70% of Richmond.
The city of Richmond does.
Correct. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay. So as far it is in that service, and all of this is determined, we get into details, LAFCO, but you're within our monopoly, within our service area, much like the other, with somebody else is within the city of Richmond's. We can't just shift from one service provider to the other because it's all connected. The pipe, and you flush there, and it goes down and gets to an interceptor and collects, and eventually comes down to our treatment plant. So I'm not sure what you mean. It's not like you can switch a vendor So yes, you're stuck with us, just like you're stuck with the city of Richmond or East Bay Mud, et cetera. As far as partnering, that is a long-term possibility that the city of Richmond and our system could be combined into one operation, much like Central Sanitary, it'd be West County. You'd see a two-tiered rate system because as shocking as the rates are on ours, I don't want to say anything about anybody else, but the city of Richmond's are already higher and will be much higher. There's a lot more deferred maintenance. We're doing the best that we can to try to make it as affordable as possible so that what has been, we're using infrastructure that was built by others. When you do public works, you build infrastructure for the next generation. And that's what we're doing and hopefully pushing off to the next generation a system that's sustainable, that's reliable, and we get to the point sooner where we're at that sustainable rate structure. We are not currently there. We're trying to catch up. We had force mains popping off like firecrackers. They were failing, and that's because they hadn't been maintained over the years. So when you try to repair and replace one in an emergency like that, instead of costing $1.5 million, you spend $3.5–4 million because you got to respond to the emergency, you got to pay for it in emergency costs. The more we can plan for it and do them in a progressive manner, but make sure we have the capital to do so, it will be much cheaper in the long run for the ratepayers. But it is a lift, and no one is denying that. It absolutely is.
And then one other follow-up question. How are the board members selected? The people that are supposed to represent the city of Richmond, how are they selected?
How are they selected? They're elected. It's an elected board, and I'll actually defer to your chair here, Mr. Rentila, who is a board member, and if you want to say something to that, Mr. Rentila, you probably do better than I can.
I refiled today, thank you. But yes, we are all elected. We run an election, and some run unopposed, and some have campaigns.
Who are you elected by? Is this a self-contained board by the Waste Management?
No. We're elected by, general public, yeah.
We're a special district. So like the city of Richmond has its boundaries and you have the city council. So East Bay Mud, ourselves, Central Sand, those are all wastewater ones, but they can be water districts, they can be cemetery districts, harbor districts. They're all a special district under California law. So it's a public agency. And in this case, with a board of directors that's elected directly by the ratepayers within that area. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other, Garland?
Need to clarify where the boundaries are at. You've been talking about West County, which is up towards Hilltop. There's basically all of Richmond, pretty much all central Richmond. And then there's a third area, which is technically called Steege.
Yeah, that's your area.
But they work with East Bay Mud as far as the water aspect of it. And they are cutting through Richmond Annex and going towards El Cerrito, well, mainly towards Berkeley and Oakland and down that direction. And so there's actually 3 different sewer districts in the city of Richmond. The largest, though, is the one that covers all of central Richmond. And East Bay Mud works with Steege as far as that direction. They've also done a little bit of contracting with the central Richmond district, but they don't run or handle all their stuff. That's all done by a separate contract.
I'm going to look in there for the question, but I can. Okay. Well, I can say a few things about it. Yes, the city of Richmond, and this is the case in sometimes in a lot of different cities or counties, there'll be multiple jurisdictions providing a similar service. In the case of the city, we're one, West County Wastewater. We serve about, as you mentioned, about 30% of the city of Richmond, the city of city of San Pablo, parts of the city of Pinole, parts of unincorporated Contra Costa County. So that would be within our district. We should have had I made a note of it right from the beginning. It would have been helpful to have the district map. Although when you look at that and then the city boundaries, it's still confusing. But roughly, You're right, all of central Richmond in the industrial area and over by the port all goes to the city of Richmond's treatment plant, Richmond Sanitary District Number 1, I think is their technical special district name. But the city council sits as the board of that sewer agency. They're synonymous. Stige, and then we have along the waterfront, Hilltop, Parkchester Village area, Terra Hills, San Pablo, parts of Pinole, up into Carriage Hills, and that way out along San Pablo Dam Road. That's essentially what our district is, and there's little nuances. Stige is one of 7 different collection agencies that send their wastewater to the East Bay Mud Treatment Plant in West Oakland. That'd be Stige, Albany, Berkeley, Alameda, Oakland, Piedmont. They all send theirs. None of those agencies treat their own wastewater, but they all own and operate the collection system, with Stige being a special district. All the others are owned and operated by the city, like Oakland or Berkeley. And they all run to an interceptor, 2 different ones, that then take it to the East Bay Mud Treatment Plant down in West Oakland. So East Bay Mud treats it and maintains the interceptor, the big pipe that collects it all, and then all the cities run the collection system. In the case of Richmond and ourselves, we run the collection system and the treatment plant.
Okay, any other questions?
You said that to construct the levee, you weren't going to be using any kind of concrete or brick. What are you going to be using?
Oh, there will be, but as opposed to say that a vertical seawall, and you build that and the waves pound up against it, there's really no habitat. There's nothing other than the mussels that can manage to cling to the side of it. But rather, there will be at the core of the levee, it won't be concrete. It'll be mostly sort of a clay material at the core, and then other materials out from that, and a wedge of sediment out into the bay to help create that refugia where animals can retreat as sea level rises. There will be some areas where it will be more vertical, where we don't have the room to do so, but where we can, we're allowing it to recede back, and then we'll be doing a significant amount of wetland rehabilitation and mitigation.
In San Francisco, they did something, I can't remember what it was that they put on the side of the wall that mussels and clams and things actually adhered to. They had the whole bit going. So, I mean, it was really interesting that instead of it being just, because after a while, concrete will give away, just like anything else. You bang it with water long enough, it'll go away. So I thought it was, but any kind of thing that will make it last longer and stay better would be nice.
Thank you. Since there's no questions online?
If you have questions online, please electronically raise your hand.
Anybody in the audience? No?
Well, just one follow-up. You mentioned the Living Levee project, and very excited about that. I'm actually one of the community members that have been helping to design that. And so the Army Corps of Engineers, the money that you got, is that going to go any towards that? Because I know there is some more, additional funds that are needed, a lot of funds that are needed. But I just want to let everybody know that the design the community was highly involved in that. And Jan, we looked at different sediments, and we looked at the wetlands, and we looked at all of the things that surrounded it. And I think they came up with some very thoughtful things, including an observation deck and a lot of things that we're able to get in there. We walked that area, and the wildlife was a big thing, and the plants that are indigenous there. So there's a lot of thought that went into that, making sure that it was sustainable, that it was, the beauty was there, and also that it protected what it needed to protect. And that is why he was saying the actual design and the way that it's built and the levee that it goes up, to make sure that over the years, as the sea level rises, we'll be able to put stuff in there to compact that, so that we won't be flooding everywhere. So I really hope that, you guys get the funding, you stay on top of it, and I look forward to seeing that come to completion.
Thank you for that, and thank you for participating. You're in the current cohort with the community working group, and your last meeting next Saturday, the 18th? Yeah, I'll be there for that one. But yes, So far, it's been local funding, meaning West County wastewater, as well as grants from regional funding sources, the San Francisco Bay Restoration Authority. And with that, we've been able to develop that collaborative shoreline plan, and what you're referring to is taking our 30% design, hopefully up to close to 60%. And it's that community input that I'm referring to, that what we don't want to have is the Army Corps to come in, hire their A&E consultant, architectural and engineering consultant, to do the design and disregard the input that we've had. Because there's a lot of good input, a lot of ideas, a lot of thoughts, as you said, went into that. Unfortunately, at this point, all of it unfunded, but we're working on that. And that's what that first 1.35 million is to help us get to close to 100% drawings and biddable documents to be able to do construction on that first phase between Wildcat and San Pablo Creeks, which is very feasible for a lot of reasons, which we could go into more detail if we were specifically on that. But the hope is that now that we're in the Army Corps of Engineers work plan, there is funding that is potentially available to the Army Corps through what they call the Water Resources Development Act, and we got that in 2022. That means that up to $45 million, the Army Corps is authorized to put into a project on the North Richmond shoreline, the way it's defined, essentially this project. But they don't have the money, meaning just like, great, here's the plan. You're allowed to do that, but you don't have it yet, which is where we have to go back, and the most likely way to do it is to continue with the congressionally directed spending Congressman Garamendi is very supportive and intends to continue to support us with that. Then we've spent all of our money doing all those improvements down there in infrastructure, so we don't really have the other 8 or 9 million sitting around in the bank account unless we raised our rates 18, 19% a year, which we didn't want to do. See, we're trying not to do that as much as
We're not robbing banks. Stay out our pockets.
I know that. Well, we absolutely would love to, which is why we're working very hard to try to see if the state can help us with some of those matching funds to say, look, we put in local dollars, we put in regional dollars, we're bringing in federal dollars. State of California, you think you can help us with this hole? And I'm fairly optimistic that we'll get some help there. And if that happens, then we may actually see construction on that first phase. And then the next part is everything you talked about, observation deck, a beach, connections to the bike trails and other access, improvements of the Bay Trail along Richmond Parkway. We'll be working very closely with the Contra Costa County Flood Control District, the City of Richmond's Planning Office, Public Works, looking for funds for those other types of improvements that can be constructed on our property or on the levee, but might be constructed by another agency. Then we have long-term maintenance, and what does that look like?
Well, we have no questions online. Before we let you go, I wanted to mention the PIPES programs. For those of you that live in our service area, I would highly recommend, if you're going to have your sewer lateral done, look at our PIPES program, because there's a limited or a finite amount of money left there to offset the cost and give you a rebate, sometimes as high as 40%. So I'd encourage you to look at that and look at our website for more information about the North Richmond Living Levy program. And if you have, do you have anything else you'd like to add before we let you go?
I'll make sure I have a map in the next presentation.
All right.
Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on. Next we have RPD.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. How's everybody doing tonight? Thank you for having me. Let me introduce myself. Good evening, everybody. My name is John Lopez, and I'm the Patrol Operations Captain for the Richmond Police Department. Lieutenant James Moody was unable to make it tonight because he's doing a 5-month leadership program course, and so he's out of town this week. And the Chief of Police, Tim Simmons, is out of town as well this week. So I'm happy to be here tonight, so I appreciate everybody having me. Tonight, I'm prepared to provide several citywide crime stats, share police department updates, and answer any questions that you may have. Overall, I'll start with our crime stats. Overall, crime has decreased citywide during June. Richmond recorded 69 violent crimes in June, which was the lowest monthly total reported this year. That represents a 34% decrease from May and a 27% decrease compared with June of last year, of 2025. The city also recorded 224 property crimes in June. That was an 8% decrease from May and a 5% decrease compared with June of last year. June was also the lowest month for reported property crimes since February, when there was 202 property crimes that were reported. When violent crime and property crimes are combined, Richmond recorded about 293 index crimes during June. That represents a 16% decrease from May and a 12% decrease compared with June of 2025. Overall, last month there was 11 robberies citywide. That's down from 16 in May. Robberies were also down 39% compared with June of last year. As far as aggravated assaults, that decreased from 77 in May to only 42 in June, which represents a 45% decrease month to month. Burglaries is one of the areas that increased during June. There was 27 reported burglaries compared with 19 in May. Vehicle thefts decreased from 90 incidents in May to 84 in June. So there's a slight difference there. However, vehicle thefts remain an area of concern because the year-to-date total is higher than it was at this point last year. Year-to-date, violent crime is down approximately 7% citywide. Robberies are down 30% and aggravated assaults are down 5%. Property crime is currently up approximately 21% year-to-date. That's primarily because of increases in larceny and the vehicle thefts, as we mentioned. These are important areas of focus for our patrol teams and investigations personnel. And then for the year, Richmond has experienced 4 homicides this year. Our most recent homicide occurred on June 16th on Patrol Avenue. I should note that all 4 of our homicides have been investigated by our detectives, and those cases have been solved, and there is no outstanding suspects associated with any of these cases. Looking at the individual districts, there were 6 reported robberies in the Southern District, there were 4 reported robberies in the Central District, and 1 in the Northern District. The Northern District experienced the largest month-to-month reduction in robberies, decreasing from 6 robberies in May to only 1 robbery in June. Violent crimes also decreased in all three districts during June. The Southern District experienced a 40% decrease, while the Central District experienced a 47% decrease, and the Northern District experienced a 17% decrease. Property crimes decreased by 13% in the Southern District, by 23%, and in the Central District. Northern District primarily due to increases in larceny and vehicle theft, as mentioned before. These district level stats are important because they help our patrol supervisors and our officers identify emergency patterns and direct resources toward the neighborhoods experience the greatest need in these areas. And then some of our department updates. So on July 7th, Chief Simmons and I presented the Police Department's annual Assembly Bill 481 report to the Richmond City Council. The annual report is available on the Richmond Police Department's transparency webpage. AB 41 requires law enforcement agencies throughout California to publicly report on certain categories of equipment. And the term military equipment is a statutory term created by state law. It should be noted that the Richmond Police Department does not possess any equipment that was previously owned or used by the military. The equipment included in the report consists of items such as our mobile command center, unmanned aerial systems, commonly referred to as drones, patrol and specialized rifles, robots, less lethal munitions, and chemical agent supplies. These tools support emergency response, officer and community safety, de-escalation, search and operations, and responses to critical incidents. The City Council meeting continued until approximately 11 p.m. that night, and at that time, the Council elected to conclude the meeting before completing the item. Chief Simmons and I are scheduled to return to the City Council on Tuesday, July 21st, to continue the presentation and answer additional questions from the Council. I do want to thank members of the Neighborhood Coordinating Council and Richmond's Neighborhood Council leaders for their continued engagement and support of the Richmond Police Department. I remain available to answer any questions about the report, the equipment, and how the equipment is used anytime. Feel free to reach me at jlopez@richmondpd.net. That's jlopez@richmondpd.net. I also wanted to provide an update regarding patrol staffing and neighborhood assignments. This past Sunday, on the 12th, officers began new shifts and neighborhood beat assignments. These assignments are 6-month deployments. We now have 6 patrol teams. And as if you remember, at the beginning of the year, the department was only operating on 5 patrol teams. Our 6-team deployment provides day shift, swing shift, and graveyard coverage on both the weekday and weekend sides of the schedule. Officers and supervisors are assigned to specific neighborhood beats, and that goal is to improve our overall accountability and increase the familiarity, I can't spell silly word, with reoccurring neighborhood concerns and give officers greater ownership over the communities. Lastly, I wanted to provide an update regarding 4th of July. I know it was loud and there was a lot of fireworks going on in the city. This was extremely challenging, as it is for most of the years for the police department. Before the holiday, the police department took a proactive approach by releasing a public service announcement. I do want to thank Michelle Milam and Anna Duran and our crime prevention team, and of course KCRT staff for their outstanding work preparing and distributing that information. To increase staffing, I did authorize 14 officers on mandatory work assignment shifts for the 4th of July. I myself even reported to work that evening to assist with the department's response and oversee operations. During that night, officers addressed sideshow activities near First and McDonald Avenue in Central District. Officers also recovered a firearm after receiving multiple reports of possible fireworks or gunfire near South 4th Street and Main Avenue and the Southern District. And then in the Northern District, officers responded to a fight call in the 2300 block of Gaynor Avenue, where there were multiple individuals who were ultimately arrested. In addition to these incidents, our personnel responded to numerous calls for service throughout the city. And I ended up leaving the police department around 1 a.m. and the fireworks are still ongoing. Our team didn't leave the police department until about 3 a.m. So despite the difficult situations and conditions, our officers and dispatchers, the supervisors that were there, and all of our support personnel remained engaged throughout the night. And I appreciate their professionalism and their commitment to protecting the Richmond community. And then lastly, as mentioned before earlier tonight, Juneteenth was on June 20th, and such a great event, and there were no issues at all. Tons of families out and bands and the parade, and just an overall great opportunity for us to get out with the community. And then I believe in August 4th is National Night Out, another opportunity for us for the police department and the fire department and just everybody in the city as a community to come together and get together and just share time together. So that concludes my report. I'm happy to address anybody that have any questions and kind of go from there. Thank you.
Thank you. Looks like Cordell was first to the mic.
So Cordell Hendler with Park Plaza Neighborhood Council. So thank you, Captain Lopez, for that report. And I just passed through 7-Eleven this morning, and it has gotten a little bit better. So, but not enough. So it would be great if we would have some extra patrol along that corridor, not only 7-Eleven, but next door to Corky's, because there's been a lot of concerns, like people doing all types of stuff. So it would be great if we had some extra patrol along that corridor. And that's one. And then number two is one of the things I forgot to mention it last time around was 23rd Street is a concern once again, because on a couple of occasions I have observed there's ladies of the evening, or as I like to call it, street walkers, and they be hanging around Veterans Hall, and it's a concern again. And so I've called it in at least a couple of times, and so their response times are good, but it would be helpful if we had to bring back the operations that they had pre-COVID. So those are my top two concerns.
Carla?
Hello, Captain. Suggestion, when you give your next presentation on the 21st with the ending of the police report, you might bring in a drone just to show people how big it is and the quality of it. Also, you might let them know the specifications of the camera, because it seems people think that it can do a whole lot more than it really can. And that might relieve some people's questions and concerns concerning that.
Thank you.
All right.
Hi, Captain Lopez. I have to admit, 4th of July was a lot more quiet than it had been in many, many years. Because that work up to, usually it would start like in May. It didn't start until the end of June, so it was really great that way. It was a lot quieter. It was still a little crazy, but, you know, that's just the way it's going to be. And I appreciate all the work that you guys did getting stuff out there. My neighbor had signs posted all up and down the blocks. It was crazy. I was like, okay, if it works, it works. I do, I will be at the Tuesday, July 21st meeting as a child of a family of hunters. I know about rifles and shotguns and all of that stuff. And maybe the city council, if they actually knew how these guns worked, might, you know, it's not some, I don't know what they think a rifle can do, you know, especially because there's somebody, oh, no rifles. And I'm like, shotgun is a lot more dangerous than a rifle, believe me. But also, you know, does a lot of damage to your body too using it, because I have a shoulder from that as a kid. But, you know, a lot of that stuff that I think they just don't understand enough to talk about it. I mean, if I can be of assistance, I will be there.
I appreciate it. And a lot of it's just to get the message out. As Chief Simmons has mentioned many a times, our goal is to do what the law has mandated and to be as transparent as possible. We have open books. You can see all the tools that we have and why we use them and how they're used. And so our ask from the council and from the community is just to lend an ear and to hear us out. And a lot of it is for de-escalation. And we don't want to be an agency that doesn't have the tools and the resources needed in the case a tragedy happens.
Right. A couple of things I want to echo with Jan. At least in my neighborhood near me, it was a lot less firecrackers. And they didn't start probably until, like she said, the very end of July 1st. And I actually got some sleep, so they didn't even pop them too long. So my hat's off for you guys. And also in agreement with Jan and Garland, as a suggestion, I did not attend this year's AB 41 meeting, but I remember last year's. And they're still not understanding the military equipment. And I'm still hearing how people are upset they hear the term military. So perhaps you guys can really start it off with the definition and just show them what it is, because I think people are so upset because they hear the word military. I was like, we went through all of this last year and you guys still don't get it. And I think, as Jan is saying, people just aren't educated. And so sometimes they need visuals. And, you know, I have a friend that says all the time, thinking isn't knowing. So you may need to bring some things in for people who are visual so that they can see. Because I don't want you guys spending 5 hours talking about is the gun pointed down to the ground or the gun pointed up to the front, or them wanting you again to every time you touch your gun to write a report, because that's not serving anybody. So anything that you can do to think of people who have no knowledge and lack of better terms, dummy it down so that they can understand. I think that you guys can, you know, finally be able to do your report and not have to spend, you know, 15 hours every year talking about the weapons. And thank you for all that you do. July 3rd was wonderful. Juneteenth was phenomenal. I still don't know where we're going to put everybody next year, but thank you guys. And the residents do. We believe in you, we care for you, and we want you to excel and exceed. So anything that we can do to help that, we're here for you.
Miss
Right,
Lori, thank you. Yeah, just want to say
I-
thank you for that. And the hours, just want to point out real quick, I'm sorry, the hours, way more than 12 for that report. I alone put in probably over 200 hours just on that report alone. So it is very time consuming, and I appreciate you pointing that out. Thank you.
So I've got a couple questions. One of them is that, so in order, when you're running a campaign, like you did for the fireworks, you're supposed to pull a permit, and you're supposed to know where all your, where you placed all your signs. And it's starting to look like blight because some of the signs are bent over and stepped on, and I see them on Appian Way. Is there a plan to retrieve all those signs? And when would that happen?
Yeah, so the plan's actually should already taken place. So at any time anyone seeing signs, or we don't want it to be a blight issue. We actually want to collect those signs and be able to use them for next year. I will look up the permit situation as you mentioned. That's a very good. I want to make sure that we're on the up and up on that. But for sure, so Michelle Milam and the crime prevention, and then our patrol staff also, as they are going out, picking them up, putting them in the trunks, and then putting them back in the police department or the fire department as well. So I'll be looking into that. I have Lieutenant Patchen who's working with me with that to make sure that we'll get as many of those signs back as possible, because we want to, again, use them for next year as well, so we don't have to spend more money on additional signs.
Great.
Thank you.
I wanted to mention too that, so in District 4, my neighborhood's in District 4, we had the shooting in the Highland Elementary School stairwell a couple weeks ago. They found a suspect, and then the homicide at the Westridge Lancaster Apartments. Was that yesterday? Is there any suspects?
So unfortunately, I'm unable to speak publicly about any investigations that we have. And as far as the investigation that occurred yesterday, I actually don't have any details on that. But when that information is able to come forward, we'll make most likely either put it out on a social media, or we'll put it on a media release so everyone's aware. I just can't share that information tonight.
Okay, understood. And then is the Richmond Police Department still running a gun buyback program?
We have not, and I have not heard of one coming this year. So I can talk to the chief about it and see if that's something that we want to do. We just did a prescription buyback just recently. I believe it was maybe a couple months ago, and that was with Chief Simmons and others. But we will discuss a gun buyback. There's a lot of legal parameters around that, but other cities do it. So it would be of good interest for us to talk to our legal department and see if that's something we can do as well.
And for those that possibly buy a gun on the streets, is there any way that you guys can run a serial number on it?
We run serial numbers on all firearms we confiscate.
No, I don't mean confiscated. If somebody called in, would you be able to run a number?
Yes, I just actually, you know what, Ardo, that's a very good question. I don't know if our records department, of our professional staff, if they would do that, or if they would turn away some of the public that are asking, because I know we turn away when it's regarding private information. So I'll have to ask about that. I don't know the answer to that just yet. So I can ask our Norma, who is our records manager, if they do that or not.
All right. Well, thank you for your presentation. Greatly appreciated, and stay safe out there.
Thank you very much. Thank you all. Appreciate
Thank you. So moving on, Richmond Fire Department. Chief Losario.
Evening. Chief Losario is not with us this evening. Rico Rincon, Deputy Fire Chief.
Hello.
Fire Chief.
That'll work.
Got a few stats to go over briefly, and then some department updates. Most notably, the differences from May to June for our fire department. We did see a almost 50% decrease in our vehicle fires, as well as over a 15% decrease in vegetation fires from May through June. But unfortunately, a 10% increase in homeless encampment fires. And most notably, we doubled the structure fires for the month. We had 8 structure fires in the month of June. Over the 4th of July weekend, our numbers, as spoken about throughout this meeting, were significantly lower than previous years. But what sticks out to us most is we had 5 structure fires over a 3-day period, stemming from July 3rd through the 5th. Although some of those are still under investigation, nothing has been attributed directly to fireworks for that weekend for our structure fires. We did respond to numerous fireworks incidents throughout the weekend as well, most of which were out upon arrival from fire crews. For some of our department highlights and updates over the past month, we're continuing our recruit academy with the City of El Cerrito Fire Department as well. We are interviewing for our second cohort of our Richmond Youth Academy. We just completed the first for the year with 25 students, and we're looking forward to 25 more for our second class for 2026. Um, for the 4th of July weekend, notably the 3rd of July, we provided safety support and fire inspections for the barge through our fire prevention division for the fireworks, as well as supporting the incident on land. Um, Most of that is due to the fact that our fireboat has returned from repair, and we are gearing up for boat operator training for our staff to put our fireboat back in service for the fire department. In addition, in June, we participated in the Rainbow Pride event, as well as the Juneteenth Parade and Festival. And coming up in the next month and throughout the summer, we'll be conducting our defensible space inspections and our very high fire hazard severity zones. As we spoke about before, we continue to encourage residents to go to our website for our smoke detector installation program if there are any residents that are interested. And other than that, I will hang around for any questions if you have any.
Good evening, Chief Regan. This is Lori. How long do the smoke alarms last? I can't remember when you guys put those smoke alarms in, but mine's still going off, so they're working. I'm just curious, how long of a lifespan is that battery up there?
So it depends on the device that's purchased. The current devices that we're installing in homes come with a pre-installed battery that doesn't require changing, and it's a 10-year battery that gets disposed of with the device on the expiration date.
Thank you. And I just want to say on behalf of the Juneteenth Committee and the residents of Richmond, a heartfelt thank you to you and your wife. For all of you who enjoy Juneteenth, I need you to know that Chief Recon and his beautiful wife come out every year to make sure that that park fits everybody. It's a daunting task, and they put their heart and soul into it, and we could not do what we do without you and her. And we sincerely thank you. We semi look forward to next year. I say semi because I don't know where we're going to put all these people. But truly, 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 as wonderful as that event has been and continues to be, it would not be without the assistance that you give us. And we truly, truly thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate the opportunity to contribute, and we're happy that it's a fun and joyous and safe event. I appreciate your kind words, and I'll be sure to relay the message.
All right. Any other questions, comments, concerns? No? Oh, by the way, would you be able to speak about the ballot measure that the Richmond Fire Department is interested in possibly putting on the ballot?
I don't currently have a prepared message for that. I'd have to yield that to the fire chief, but I'll work on that and make sure we have something next meeting.
Sounds good. Maybe September when we come back.
That sounds good. Sure.
All right. Well, thank you for your presentation. Greatly appreciated. And stay safe out there as well.
All right. Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. All right. Next, we have the mayor's office.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Valerie, and I am the Technical and Outreach Coordinator for the Mayor's Office. I just wanted to take a couple of minutes to give another quick update on the city's board and commissions and how Richmond residents can get involved. So since our last update in June, we now have agendized and appointed 42 members to our boards and commissions who are now serving their terms and reappointments. On top of that, we currently have 14 additional applicants moving through the process who are expected to come before City Council soon. I would like to list a couple of boards and commissions that currently have vacancies and encourage the neighborhood council members and attendees to share this information to anyone interested in being involved with the city. A couple I want to list were Arts and Culture Commission, the Black Resiliency Project Community Advisory Committee, Design Review Board, Economic Development Commission, Housing Advisory Commission, the McDonald Avenue Corridor Task Force, Personnel Board, the Richmond Fund Children Youth Oversight Board, and much more. If you or someone you know is interested in serving, or if you want more information about any of the boards and commissions, our next boards and commissions vacancy report will be posted on the June 28th council meeting. You can also visit the City of Richmond's page on boards and commissions, or reach out to us, the mayor's office at mayorsoffice@ci.richmond.ca.us. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Jan?
Valerie, I wanted to thank you for announcing the commissions. I'm the chair of the Recreation and Parks Commission, which didn't meet for a whole year because we didn't have a quorum. So you're helping us get more people on there, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm doing my best.
Great job, Valerie.
Well, you know what? Your presentations are better than the last 10 or 12. So thank you. You're to be commended. Thank you for showing up.
Thank you.
So without further ado, I guess we'll go to the next speaker, economic development.
Good evening, everyone. Antoinette Terrell, Executive Director of Richmond Housing Authority. I'll be providing the updates for economic development this evening. For the Business Development Department, the city continues to support local businesses through several ongoing programs. The Facade Improvement Pilot Program remains open for businesses in the Iron Triangle, Santa Fe, and Coronado neighborhoods. While current funding has been fully allocated, we're continuing to accept applications in case additional funding becomes available. And I just want to echo what Valerie just said, that the McDonald Avenue Corridor Task Force continues to meet regularly to discuss ways to revitalize downtown Richmond. And there are still opportunities for community members to get involved. Also, the Economic Development Commission has vacancies, and residents interested in supporting economic development are also encouraged to apply. For the real estate division at Area FM, we're moving forward into construction. The necessary permits have been issued. A meeting with DTSC is scheduled for July 22nd, and construction notices have already been distributed to Anchor Cove residents. The work is expected to begin on July 27th and continue through early October. At the marina, planning continues for solar shade structures at the boat launch parking area, and fairway dredging is expected to begin this month in coordination with the port. At Point Malati, staff are wrapping up work related to the federal funding and transitioning the project to management responsibilities. At the courtyard, the city continues to pursue state funding reimbursements for the environmental cleanup. And finally, at the July 21st City Council meeting, staff will be presenting the NV5 environmental contract and a Marina Bay SBA agreement for City Council's consideration. And lastly, for our Environmental and Health Initiatives Division, on July 2nd, city staff released the Black Resiliency Project RFP for a consultant to develop the State of Black Richmond report on the city's bids online portal. Responses to the RFP are due on August 13th, and those are our updates for this evening.
Okay, we have a question?
Yeah. Hi, I have a question for you. You mentioned that there was a notice that went to the Marina Bay neighbors for the asphalt cap project, but I'm getting, I'm hearing differently that the residents haven't been notified. Do you know when that mailing went out?
I do not. This came from my coworker Craig Murray, but I can follow up with him and have him reach out to you directly.
Okay, because I just provide the DTSC a contact over at Marina Bay and the shores, and because I guess they were been calling in because there's been no signage, and maybe they haven't been notified either. So anyway, but thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, this is Sherwin from the Iron Triangle Neighborhood Council. I just wanted to know, what is the process or the sequencing of new businesses and our renovation projects getting approved that are within our district, it's within the Iron Triangle? A lot of people that I'm hearing now, they're getting approved, but they have not came and presented to the Iron Triangle Neighborhood Council. and we need to get that corrected immediately, if possible.
Is there a specific project you're speaking of that I presented on tonight?
Well, no, I don't want to just target any one particular project, but there's several. I sit on the McDonald Ave corridor task force, and I'm hearing a lot of chatter about things that are happening along the McDonald corridor as far as planning, and we haven't seen any of these folks at our meeting. And then there's a few other businesses that I've seen facades and improvements happening, but they never came and presented at our meeting and given our residents a chance to chime in.
What I can do for you is I can have Nanette Beecham, who is the Director of Economic Development, reach out to you to respond to your question.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. Any questions online? Seeing none, well, we'd like to thank you for your presentation and hope to see you in September. Thank you. Moving on to planning, the planning department. No one? Okay, we'll move on to Miss Stephanie. Community Services. No. They're a department of their own. Yeah. Thank you. Ooh, movie in the park.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Stephanie and I am an analyst with the City of Richmond Community Services Recreation. I'm also the staff liaison to the RNCC. Today, I'm here to give you some recaps and just announce a bunch of new events that we have coming up this summer in recreation. So in terms of event recaps, Recreation hosted the 3rd of July fireworks and celebration at Marina Bay Park on July 3rd. We thank everyone who joined us and helped make this event another great success, including all of our interdepartmental teams. This past Saturday, July 11th, the City of Richmond, in collaboration with the 15th Annual North Richmond Music Festival, hosted the grand reopening of Shields Reed Park following a transformational investment of Prop 68 and American Rescue Plan Act funding. We were honored to welcome residents, community partners, elected officials, and members of the Charles Reed family to celebrate this milestone. Park improvements include public art, a multi-use field, a stage, fitness zone, habitat garden, bike pump track, zip line, restroom, new play structure, and more. The park is now open to the public for residents to enjoy. In terms of new events, Recreation is hosting the annual Movies in the Park series at various parks in Richmond. We had our very first one this past Friday, July 10th, showing the movie Goat at Lemoyne Park. We'll be showing Zootopia 2 at Tiller Park on July 24th, The Bad Guys 2 at Marina Bay Park on August 7th, and Hoppers at the Richmond Recreation Complex on August 21st. On Saturday, July 25th, the Richmond Tool Library is hosting a birthday party to celebrate 10 years of incredible service. We're hosting a ceremony to honor our donors and all the contributions that have made our program a success. Please join us for food, games, competitions, giveaways, raffle prizes, the Richmond Tool Library Heat Press, and more. We're also hosting a community tool swap as part of the event. Bring your safe and working tools down to the tool swap tent during our Richmond Tool Library 10-year anniversary celebration and exchange with your fellow neighbors. Potential prizes for our competitions and raffle include a fruit tree and handmade prizes. All guests will receive at least one free Tool Library themed item like a coaster or a tote bag. Some activities are limited to individuals 18 and over, but there will still be plenty of fun, cake, and popsicles for the entire family. This is a free community event at the Recreation Complex parking lot, July 25th. On Tuesday, July 29th, from 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. at the Richmond Annex Senior Center, join us for the Let's Get Blooming Flower Arrangement Workshop. Pre-registration is required and costs $15, which covers the cost of supplies and flowers. For more information, call the Annex Senior Center at 510-620-6812. On Saturday, August 15th, join us for the Richmond Plunge 100th Anniversary Celebration from 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. The celebration, which is themed 100 years in one day, will honor one of Richmond's most beloved and historic public recreation facilities. The event schedule is as follows. From 10 to 11 a.m., there will be an outside ceremony and building dedication. 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m., there will be inside pool activities and demonstrations. 1 p.m. to 3 p.m., there will be lap swim drop-in. Regular fees apply. 3:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. family recreation swim for only $1 per participant. This is limited to 150 participants, and online pre-registration is required. As usual, if you have any questions about recreation activities, please contact us at 510-620-6793 to reach the registration office. And as usual, neighborhood councils have access to our printing and mailing services. You can always reach out to us if you have something, if you want to mail out something. Of course, there are timelines and specifications that you must follow, but feel free to reach out to my team if you'd like to coordinate a print job. Thank you.
All right, any questions or, yes?
Stephanie, what kind of tools do you guys take at the tool library? I have a garage full of tools.
So in terms of donations?
Yeah, yes.
Donations, they're definitely subject to, there's not like a definitive list. We kind of just want things that are in working condition and that we don't have, that we need more of, since we have such a tiny, tiny space. It's only
Yeah, I
400
know.
square feet.
I
Yeah,
understand.
so I would recommend if you have kind of a list of what you want to donate, just send us an email to a library at ci.richmond.ca.us. In some cases, we might ask you to bring it in for inspection, or for us to take a look at it if it's a type of tool that we're looking for.
Yeah, okay, no problem. I will make a list of them all.
And you could bring them to the tool swap as well. If you
Sure,
want to
sure.
swap some tools. Thank you.
All right, anybody online? No? Well, thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you.
All right, so moving on to old business. I think maybe the old business might be the fact that we have a brand-new website and we're still working on it. We're looking at getting some maps from the city, possibly, for our website to kind of let people know whereabouts, what districts they live in and what have you. So, new business?
Yes, so I'm Cordell with Park Plaza Neighborhood Council, and I do apologize for coming right at when West County Wastewater were presenting. I'm like, I had a meeting next door. So I was writing down couple of thoughts that I had to bring to the board for future meetings. So two of my ideas is kind of like related to, like housing. And so I'm thinking like in the future, we would like to have Logan Robinson to come and speak to us about what Home Match does. Cause it's like, I think about a lot of the elders in our community. I'm like thinking to myself, it would be great if we had someone like a potential person like to live in somebody else's home for like, kind of like, make a little money on the side. So that was one thought. And then the other thought that I had was kind of related to housing. It's like, is to invite someone from Rebuilding Together East Bay Network to come and present to us on what their program does. And so, because related to what I said, elders in our community, because they fall or trip cautiously. And it's like, it would be great if we had Rebuilding Together come and present to us at a later time. That's two of my ideas. Then the third part is inviting someone from Caltrans to come and present to us on regarding the, what do they call that? Medians underneath the freeways, because it's been an issue for quite some time. And I'm like, it's going to be a problem. And then the last item is either BNSF Railroad or Union Pacific to present to us, because as someone who lives adjacent to the site, it's like the trains come at odd times of days. So I'm thinking like we need to have one of these the railroads, to come and present to us at a later time. So those are my thoughts that I had.
Okay, before you leave, can you tell me again, Logan Robinson?
Yes,
And what's the nonprofit or
It's called Home Match.
Home Match?
Yeah, I got a flyer in the mail.
Okay, thank you. And so, as far as new business, we did have our website on there, but as far as new business, we discussed it amongst ourselves. Joe Fisher, for those of you that don't know, was a neighborhood council leader, a community leader, and just an icon in the city of Richmond. And he just passed away recently. I'm not sure if he was 90 yet, but we had honored him at our Black History Month for several reasons. And we plan on buying him a wreath and a card. So our prayers and wishes go out to the Fisher family and everyone else that's related to them. So we have no meeting in August. We'll be back the second Monday of September, right here with Cordell. So, yeah, the time right now is 8:47, still July 13th. So thank you for coming, and we'll adjourn this meeting.